It all began with Merlinda practicing her mermaid magic, and her friends encouraged her on the way as she was able to create a massive whirlpool of water, but lost control and was stunned as her friends went to help her. Shasha posted Merlinda magic videos on social media, but Nerissa and Merlinda didn't want students knowing she was a mermaid, and she had to delete it. Celia called their attention as they had to return to the rescue center to attend to a baby whale that was taken there. Merlinda could speak to sea creatures as the baby whale informed her how her mother is trapped somewhere, so Merlinda, Shasha, and Nerissa transformed to their mermaid form and went to rescue her, while Tyler and Celia followed them with boats. They arrived at the location as the mermaids informed them that the mother whale was trapped in a net below, as Tyler entered his jet ski and followed Merlinda into the ocean, and they found the mother whale trapped in a net. The whale was too heavy to lift, but Merlinda was able to cheer them on as the mermaids combined their energy and were able to free the whale, but the whale, feeling too weak, began sinking. The mermaids could no longer help her as they dragged the crying baby whale back up. Merlinda, about to leave, had flashes of memories on how she lost her mom, and this ignited a massive surge of energy, sensed by the sea witch, as she was able to pull the mother whale back up to breathe. The baby whale reunited with its mother, but Merlinda lost consciousness, and as they brought her to the boat, she regained consciousness as her friends were amazed by the magic she was able to pull off, and as they were talking about it, her merpet found a magic oyster shell and brought it to her. Merlinda was able to recognize it, and she realized that she could find the pearls of Neptune needed to save her kingdom where the oysters are. With the help of Tyler and Celia, they were able to track the ocean current and get the coordinates as they navigated to the location. On getting there, the mermaids dived into the ocean, and while looking around, they found lots of oyster shells with no pearls in them. They ventured deep into the sea fog as Merlinda and Nerissa arrived at the Guardian's lair, while Shasha found a closed oyster, and with the help of her merpet, they were able to open the shell and found a pearl as she brought it to her friends. The Guardian of the Pearls attacked them as it retrieves the pearl from Shasha and went back to its lair. Merlinda tried convincing the Guardian, but to no avail. The mermaids were determined to retrieve the pearls as each of them powered up their mermaid form. Shasha made them invincible as they ventured into the Guardian's lair. Shasha was able to retrieve the pearls, but the Guardian spotted, exposed, and captured them, but Tyler and Celia came right on time in their jet ski, shining their lights, and were able to deter the Guardian as they began tossing the pearls among themselves. The Guardians chased them, but they were quick enough as it lost sight of them. Merlinda had hope for the first time to save Mertropia, her kingdom. The pearl restored her broken ring as they decide to retrieve 4 more pearls to save Mertropia. On their way back, Tyler and Celia jet ski got stuck by the sea witch as she attacks and captured Merlinda. The sea witch realized Merlinda had a striking resemblance to someone she knew, but there was no time, as she retrieves the pearl from her and escaped as Merlinda freed herself, but the sea witch was already gone. Her friends arrived and cheered her on realizing the pair was gone. The pirate Barbarossa was in his lair still trying to unveil the secrets of the royal map when the sea witch arrived with the pearls of Neptune, but the pirate got angry with her as it was her fault that he got captured in a blade many years ago. The sea witch was able to convince him that it was his destiny to conquer Mertropia, and they have a greater advantage now as she handed the pearl of Neptune to him, and as he touched it, he could feel its power as it restores his form. He used the magic of the pearls to uncover the secret location of the remaining pearls in the royal map as he orders his sea monsters to spread out in search of them. Back at the rescue center, the girls cheered themselves up with hope of getting more pearls. Merlinda was alone outside feeling sad about the previous ordeal as Tyler arrived and spoke to her as she began doubting herself, but Tyler was able to convince her with the hope that she is not in it alone, and they were going to acquire more pearls. The girls were having fun at the rescue center when the pirate, Barbarossa, spotted them and rallied his sea monster, but got stunned as the rescue center was protected by a spell casted by his archenemy, Captain John Silver, who was long dead, but his spell was still very much active. Barbarossa left as Merlinda sensed his dark energy, which made her feel awkward. Merlinda, Nerissa, and Shasha swam around the oysters looking for pearls, but they all seemed to be empty as the place was filled with junk. They spotted a glowing object and went to check, but it wasn't a pearl. They were disappointed as it was the 6th oyster beds and they haven't found a single pearl. They then decided to meet Tyler and Celia in school for more ideas and coordinates of where to search for pearls. Arriving at school, they met with Tyler and Celia as Celia handed a note containing more possible pearl locations. Tyler broke the good news to them that there were no classes today, as it was John Silver Day, the pirate who founded their town. The whole student was heading to the amusement park as the girls decided to use the opportunity to sneak out in search of more pearls, but they were spotted by one of their teachers who signals them to get in the bus. They were about getting in when Tracy arrived in a nice ride as she had a crush on Tyler and offered to give him a ride, but Tyler rejected as he wasn't into her and took the bus with Merlinda. Back at Metropia, Alex, the head of the guards, was walking hopelessly until he saw a young child posing with a shark costume, which gave him an idea as he rushed to the royal archives to pick up an item. Merlinda's father, the king of Metropia, had almost drained all of his life force resuscitating the pearls as one of them lost its spark, and there wasn't any time left. Alex met with the king as the king blames him for letting Merlinda, and her friends trick him to entering the portal and putting their lives in danger. Alex proposed a plan to rescue her by disguising himself in one of the sea monster specimens that they acquired, so he can make his way through the portal without being spotted. The bus arrived at the amusement park as Shasha was excited about the adventures she was going to experience as Celia and Fred decides to join them on one of the rides. Merlinda still wanted to sneak out to find pearls, but Tyler, wanting to spend some time with her, convinced her to stay and have fun for a while as he took her to play some games. After tossing the balls around, Tyler won a stuffed shark and handed it to Merlinda. Chris and the boys were tossing the baseball around when Sean ran out of the haunted swamp ride screaming that they were monsters there. The boys laughed at him as Chris rallied them as they went into the haunted swamp to see how scary it is. Merlinda and Tyler were still having fun when Tracy came around claiming something was wrong with his sis, Celia, as she pulled him away, but Merlinda quickly noticed Tracy tricked them as Celia was fine with Shasha. Chris was exploring the haunted swamp ride as he FaceTimed his buddy Hunter to see what he might be missing. Chris was spotted by the sea monsters as they followed him from behind. Celia, who happened to be with Hunter during the FaceTime, spotted the monsters behind Chris and alerted the girls as they decide to go rescue them. The sea monsters attack the boys, and they quickly realize something was wrong as Merlinda and the girls decides to transform and also stay out of sight to avoid being spotted. They attack the monsters from underneath as they drag the monsters below, striking it multiple times. Tyler realized he was tricked by Tracy as the mayor pet arrived, signaling Tyler as he distracted Tracy and ran out to help his friends. Tyler and Fred reunited with Celia as they put out ladders as the boys climbed out and Fred led them out of the swamp. The girls were about climbing out when the ladder got caught by fire and they fell off. Well, it turns out the pirate Barbarossa was present, and as Merlinda got angry because he was a terror to the mayor folk, the pirate ordered his sea monsters towards them as Merlinda evades them and rushed to attack Barbarossa. Their fight was intense, and as Barbarossa chased her, Tyler and Celia appeared to help them as Merlinda. Shasha and Nerissa crashed the haunted swamp as they made their way out and were able to escape Barbarossa as Celia convinced the boys that what they saw was just animatronics. Alex in disguise was at the portal with the king as he promised to bring the Princess Merlinda back home safely. Back at the rescue center, the girls cheered Merlinda as they hoped to be powerful enough to take on the pirate Barbarossa. Alex swam alongside the sea monsters in his camouflage, but it didn't take long for them to notice as he was attacked as he tried to escape. Back at the rescue center, the girls had no luck finding the pearls and wished Alex, the tracking specialist from Metropia, was with them. The rescue center was in debt as cranes and other machines were being operated to bring down the building. Tyler's dad tried to stop them as he wanted to ask the bank for more time, but the operators informed them that the bank had closed on them. Tyler and Celia stood in their way as the girls watched and figured they had to do something. With their powers, they caused the machines to malfunction as the operators were forced to run for their lives. Tyler and Celia were glad as the girls bought them some time to save the rescue center. At school, they gathered the students around as Celia came up with the idea to hold a fundraising event. Shasha was a pretty good influencer as she played a major role in the advertisement for the upcoming event, and the video was sent to everyone. The girls were excited as they got a lot of positive response from there as they met with Tyler's dad, and he was very impressed with the girls as he heads to the bank. The girls were setting up the venue for their fundraising event when they got a distress call from a seal informing them of a mere person in the ocean, and they rushed to check it out. At the other side of the beach, Chris and the boys were practicing their baseball as one of them tossed it to a nearby cave, and as Chris went to get the ball, he was grabbed by sea monsters. The other guys didn't see Chris and thought he was trying to trick them as he usually does. The seal led the mermaid to the location as Shasha got distracted by treasures she found in the ocean and played with them. The seal led Merlinda, Nerissa, and Shasha to a building, and they were surprised as the mere person they found was Alex. They were able to resuscitate him, and on waking up, Alex wanted Merlinda to go back to Metropia with him, making Merlinda sad as she can't go back without acquiring the pearls needed to save her kingdom. Tyler and Celia were able to comfort her with hope of acquiring the pearls. The sea monsters brought Chris before the pirate Barbarossa and the sea witch, and as they arrived, Barbarossa showed the sea witch the toxins he used in creating the sea monsters as she added some of her spells to it as they transformed Chris into one humongous monster. The fundraiser was held as people had started donating to save the rescue center. Celia was a bit worried as Chris, who promised to show up, hasn't arrived. They were still at it when Barbarossa arrived, and as he couldn't get to the center because of the spell, he sent his sea monsters and Chris to crash the event. One of the ladies spotted the monsters and alerted everyone as they thought they were being attacked by alligators as everyone ran for their lives. The mermaids, Tyler and Chris, had taken out most of the monsters when Monster Chris arrived. It was a terrifying sight as Monster Chris struck Merlinda and was about finishing her off when Alex arrived as he struck the monster with his trident as they all fought the humongous monster together. Celia had an idea as she got into one of the cranes as Merlinda was able to distract the monster long enough as it was struck with the crane and sent to the ground. They went to check if the monster was truly out as Celia found a piece of Chris's jacket, and by looking further into the monster's eyes, she realized it was indeed Chris, but the monster Chris ran off before they could investigate further. Tyler's dad comforted them as the fundraising event didn't go as planned, and they were about to lose the rescue center. They were cleaning the site as Shasha tossed some treasures she played with earlier, and as Celia, Tyler and his dad spotted it, they were happy as the treasures were high in value. Tyler's father took the treasure to the bank to settle the mortgage for the rescue center as they held a small celebration at the center. Tyler's dad spotted the pearl ring he found and donated to the museum in Merlinda's finger and asked about it, but they lied it was just a copy, and as he informed them of someone who tried stealing the real ring back then, they did their research and realized the man knew about various oceanic items as they decide to find him and verify his true intents. That would be all for today. Watch the recap of the previous episode by clicking on the video showing on the screen to get a better understanding of the events in this episode. Subscribe and stay tuned for more episodes of Mermaid Magic on its mythical. Thanks for watching.